Can't wait to hear what you have to say. What's your reaction to Reese's comments?
How did that happen? How did we get here? What she just said, the national championship game. We were not talking about Caitlyn Clark before Angel Reese walked up to her, did this, and pointed to the ring. This is not my opinion. I lived it. I watched it. It was recorded. It was broadcasted live. We were not talking about Caitlyn Clark before that moment. And that's okay, because you can be extremely talented and not interested.
What happens when a seasoned commentator crosses paths with a rising star? We're about to find out. Joy Taylor, known for diving headfirst into hot topics, recently made headlines with remarks that seem to be aimed at Caitlyn Clark. But it's Clark's response that's stealing the spotlight. Her reaction. Let's just say it's a move no one could have predicted.
Teams are going to pick up Caitlyn Clark from the second she touches the basketball. That's what Burton did there. All over Caitlyn going inside. I mean, that's a...
At just 21 years old, Caitlyn Clark was already a rising star in basketball, a legend in the making. Her brilliance on the court had captivated millions, each move a masterclass in precision and passion. But tonight, Caitlyn wasn't the center of attention. She wasn't the guest of honor. Instead, she sat inconspicuously at a table tucked near the back, invited by a family connection. She didn't seek the spotlight, though it always seemed to find her. Quietly, she observed the event, her sharp mind absorbing every detail with the same focus that made her unstoppable on the court. What Caitlyn couldn't have anticipated, however, was that this seemingly ordinary night was about to take a dramatic turn, one that would leave everyone in the room utterly breathless.
Wake up call, same time. How would I not know how hard it is to do the show I work on? You have to constantly reaffirm that you are good enough, that you belong there, and then always prove it. So I would just always say you gotta do twice the work to get half the opportunity. But that, to me, the mentality I've always had on it is that's just gonna make me better. So that's why I'm excellent. Because I had to be. I couldn't be average, I couldn't be okay, I couldn't be late, I couldn't complain, I couldn't say no. Now I do.
The gala had unfolded smoothly, blending light conversation, polished speeches, and trays of elegantly plated hors d'oeuvres. Sophistication flowed effortlessly through the room until Joy Taylor took the stage. Known nationwide for her sharp tongue and fearless commentary, Joy commanded attention wherever she went. Dressed impeccably, she began her presentation with ease, her wit drawing soft laughter from the crowd. But charm can be a double-edged sword. As her anecdotes turned sharper, the room's energy shifted. Conversations hushed as guests leaned in, sensing a storm brewing. Joy's smooth voice took on a slight edge as she delivered a pointed remark. Of course, she began with a knowing smirk. We can't talk about the future of sports without mentioning women's basketball's golden child. All eyes turned toward Caitlyn Clark, seated inconspicuously at a table near the back. She didn't move, her expression unreadable as Joy's words filled the room. At first, it sounded like praise, but the undertone of mockery soon became unmistakable. Must be nice, Joy teased, her smile half friendly, half taunting. How can you not shine when the whole game is built around your strengths? The air grew tense. Nervous laughter from a few guests quickly faded into silence. Joy's words landed heavily, sparking a collective unease. All eyes shifted back to Caitlyn, whose calm demeanor stood in stark contrast to the charged atmosphere. She didn't flinch, laugh, or frown. Her hands rested lightly on the table, her posture poised and confident. Her lack of reaction wasn't indifference. It was strength, a quiet refusal to be drawn into the fray. The room seemed to freeze as Caitlyn's silence spoke louder than words, its weight turning the tables on Joy. Even Joy faltered, her confident composure flickering with uncertainty. Then, Caitlyn moved. She pushed her chair back slowly, the soft scrape echoing through the hushed ballroom. Rising to her full height, she commanded attention without effort. Each deliberate step toward the stage was a statement in itself, the sound of her heels clicking against the polished floor amplifying the suspense. Joy, who moments earlier had dominated the room, now looked visibly uneasy. Her confident smile faded as Caitlyn ascended the stage, every movement calculated and commanding. The ballroom, once buzzing with lively chatter, seemed to shrink under the weight of anticipation. Reaching the podium, Caitlyn paused, letting the silence stretch. She adjusted the microphone, her gaze sweeping the room before locking onto Joy. Her calm expression remained unshaken, her presence radiating authority. "Thank you for your perspective," Caitlyn began, her voice steady and clear. The crowd held its breath. Her tone wasn't defensive or confrontational, but layered with quiet confidence that silenced even the faintest whispers. She continued, weaving her words with precision, addressing not only Joy's remarks, but the broader narratives that have followed her career. She acknowledged the pressures, the criticisms, and the expectations with a poise that transformed the moment into something far greater than a clash of personalities. In that moment, Caitlyn turned what could have been a public spectacle into a masterclass in composure. Her calm, measured response reflected the same discipline and grace she brought to the basketball court, leaving the room breathless. Joy, for all her sharp wit, found herself on unfamiliar ground. Caitlyn's silence had already shifted the power dynamic, and now her words sealed it. It wasn't just a response. It was a lesson in strength, steel wrapped in grace, the kind of strength that doesn't demand respect but commands it. The gala began as a seamless affair, filled with light-hearted conversations, polished speeches, and elegantly served hors d'oeuvres. It exuded sophistication until Joy Taylor took the stage. Known for her sharp commentary and fearless candor, Joy's presence demanded attention. She started strong, drawing laughter with her clever remarks, but as her tone shifted, the atmosphere grew charged. Her words turned pointed, and the room held its breath as she directed her focus toward Caitlyn Clark, the rising basketball star. "Of course," Joy said with a sleek grin, "we can't talk about the future of sports without mentioning women's basketball's golden child." Her tone started with praise, but soon a subtle sting of mockery boiled through. "Must be nice," Joy teased, her smile half taunting. "How can you not shine when the whole game is built around your strengths?" The crowd shifted uncomfortably, murmurs rippling through the room as nervous chuckles faded into silence. All eyes turned to Caitlyn, seated quietly at a table near the back. She didn't react. Not a flinch, not a frown. Her hands rested lightly on the table, her posture composed and confident. Caitlyn's silence wasn't indifference. It was strength, a quiet refusal to engage on anyone else's terms. The tension thickened, turning the lively gala into a moment of suspense. Even Joy faltered, her confidence flickering as the dynamic shifted. Then, Caitlyn moved. She pushed back her chair, the soft scrape slicing through the silence. Rising to her full height, she exuded a commanding presence without effort. The room's attention followed her as she walked toward the stage, each deliberate step echoing against the polished floor. Joy, who had dominated the stage moments earlier, now stood still, her confidence visibly shaken. Caitlyn climbed the steps to the podium with calm determination. Adjusting the microphone, she scanned the room before settling her gaze on Joy. "Thank you for your perspective," Caitlyn began, her voice steady and clear. The room froze, her words cutting through the tension like a breath of fresh air. Her tone was neither defensive nor confrontational, but brimming with quiet confidence that demanded respect. Caitlyn acknowledged the criticism gracefully, refusing to let it define her.